When I was the Shadow Minister for Immigration, we were dealing in this country with an even worse border protection crisis than was fixed up by the Howard government. We were seeing 1,200 people that we know of who perished at sea. And for 2 years, we worked to put in place a policy that we knew would work. It didn't come overnight. For 2 years, we worked with those who are experienced in this area. I travelled overseas. I went to the United States, the United Kingdom. I went to Malaysia. I went to Indonesia. I pulled in people who knew what they were talking about, people like General Morrison. And we worked with others retired in the Defence Forces. And we built Operation Sovereign Borders. And we set out very clearly that the way to fix this problem is to have that three-strand cord of temporary protection visas, of offshore processing, and turning back boats where it was safe to do so. Now, I can tell you at that election that the least popular of all of those policies, the one that people attacked us most on, was on the policy of turning back boats. People said it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done safely. But we had done the work to ensure we knew how we could do it safely. We didn't spend 2 years just talking about the failures of the then Labor government on our borders. We did the hard work of preparing ourselves for government, preparing ourselves to have a policy we could run with the minute we were elected. And we did. We put it in place carefully. We established Operation Sovereign Borders, and it has been one of the most successful border protection policies anywhere in the world. So successful that other countries are taking their lead from Australia's successful approach. And why? It was the humane thing to do. It enabled us to close 17 detention centres. It enabled us to get all the children out of detention. It enabled us to get those children off Manus Island that Labor put on Manus Island. People forget this. When Labor was last in power, they put children on Manus Island in a detention centre. And I know because I saw them there. I visited them. I spoke to their parents who were in that facility with them. So when you lose control of your borders, as Labor did, that is the consequence. And so I just don't buy it from Labor. I don't buy it that they're strong in border protection, because when it mattered, when there was a policy there for them to support that was making all the difference and would make all the difference, they turned the other way. I'll finish on this point before I ask Melissa Price to speak more to the announcement we're making today, and then I want to come back and make some other comments on our housing policy announcements today. In August of 2008, Kevin Rudd abolished temporary protection visas. That was the green light to Labor's border protection failures. You want to date it? That was the day they said people smugglers are in business. And from that day on, the boats came, and they just kept coming, and they just kept coming, and people kept on drowning. And Labor had no credible answers. And so I am just amazed that after all of this time, Anthony Albanese is saying that he would abolish temporary protection visas if he were to become Prime Minister. After all of this time, Labor have learned nothing when it comes to border protection. And I think that's very disappointing, because it does set out, I suppose, a very clear choice. A government that knows how to protect and secure our borders, and a Labor opposition you just don't know at all. And with that, I'll ask Melissa to make